We chose Bud primarily because your segmentation is just better than a lot of the other solutions that we saw. You'll know better than I do. I think it's like 150 categories, which is crazy because a lot of the companies that we looked at, segmentation isn't their USP, whereas it is for Bud. And so because students spend on so many different categories of stuff, and for us, it's important that we can segment, for example, within transport, the difference between a taxi, an Uber, and public transport. That's very important to us because to be able to feed that information back to students, to use the word transport is not helpful. And for a lot of, a number of the other organizations that we looked at, they'll include things like car rental or car repayments, which for the majority of students, although not all of them, that doesn't help and it skews the numbers. And one of the things that's been really important to us, and we simply couldn't do it without Bud, is to be able to accurately present to students the actual cost of living. And so what has historically happened before, and universities, this isn't their fault because they don't have the data, is they would say things like, I mean, we're sitting in London, right? You'd say something like, average rent per week will be somewhere between 110 and 700 pounds. Well, that's lovely, but that is not helpful, right? Whereas what we can do is say, this is the average, this is the median, and actually people like you are spending in this much narrower band. Couldn't do that without. And so all we've been able to do with this is the most important thing, which is present as accurate and as narrow a band so that students can make actual decisions based on fact. You know, a £600 band per week with rent is like, it's very nice, but it's not helpful, you know. So that's that level of accuracy, or at least the ability to reduce that band to, you know, the median is between 150 and 200. Even if these are the average bands, it makes all the difference in the world. And then students can make a proper assessment of whether or not they can budget that money. Because if they can't budget that money, they're going to drop out. And if they drop out, they have all the problems that we discussed at the beginning. So this stuff is not warm and fuzzy and, oh, look at the cool tech that we can build. This makes an actual difference to an individual student's ability to manage their money. And that's the whole reason that we do what we do.